A human heart stops. The brain starts dying in 4 minutes. And across America, whether someone survives depends on whether the dispatcher has a standardized script or nothing at all. Today we're talking about Telecommunicator-CPR, or T-CPR, and why states are rushing to pass laws requiring it. Because in the time that it takes for your responders to arrive, the person who may save that life isn't on the street. They're on the phone in the communications center. Stick around. That's coming up next on TiPS, Today in Public Safety.
Welcome to TiPS, Today in Public Safety, your go-to podcast for today's breaking stories in public safety news. Here's your host, Fletch, with today's tips.
A frantic caller screams, "He's not breathing!" The dispatcher freezes, not because they're untrained, but because they don't have a standard legally required protocol to guide them. 10 seconds lost, then 20, then 30, and the life slips away. Meanwhile, in another state, a dispatcher instantly launches into, "No breathing? No consciousness? We're starting chest compressions. Put me on speaker and follow my count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 2 calls. Same emergency, 2 completely different outcomes. All because one state had standard T-CPR protocols and the other doesn't. Welcome to TiPS, Today in Public Safety. This is Fletch. I'm a NENA certified ENP, and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I bring you the latest insights, sometimes controversial takes, but always the real-world issues shaping the future of 911. Today we're diving into one of the simplest and most powerful upgrades that any 911 center can make, and that's standardizing Telecommunicator-CPR, the gap in the chain of survival. You know, in this podcast, we talk a lot about satellites, AI, location tech, but none of that matters when a caller with a cardiac arrest is on the line. When the heart stops, the brain has 4 minutes before permanent damage sets in. That's less time than this podcast, and in fact, in many jurisdictions, EMS normal arrival is 8 minutes or more. That precious window is owned by the ECC. Yet across the country, T-CPR protocols are inconsistent, absent, or left to training muscle memory. The American Heart Association has been warning us for years. This patchwork is costing lives. What goes wrong without standardization? Delayed recognition of cardiac arrest, inconsistent coaching cadence, and no measurable QA or performance improvement. Remember, if you can't measure it, you don't know it's broken, so you can't fix it. The legislative wave. Look, here's the good news. The landscape is changing, and it's changing fast. Texas, Minnesota, Oklahoma, Arizona, Washington, and others have passed laws requiring mandatory T-CPR training for all telecommunicators, statewide approved scripts or protocols, QA reviews for cardiac arrest calls, and funding pathways that pays for training, software upgrades, and staffing time. Look, the mission is simple. A patient's survival shouldn't depend on which side of a county line that their heart stops on. The results: lives saved immediately. Arizona's proved it. When they standardized T-CPR and measured the compliance, bystander CPR tripled. Survival with good neurological outcomes increased dramatically, and fear and hesitation at the console dropped. It's a well-known fact that consistency makes dispatchers faster. Speed makes callers calmer. Calm callers make better compressions, and better compressions save lives. Your next steps. If you manage a PSAP, here's your question. How long does it take in your center from call answer to first compression? If it's over 2 minutes, standardization can help fix that tomorrow. This is one of the rare improvements in public safety that requires no new satellite launches, no multi-million-dollar systems or centers, and no firmware upgrades. It just requires a standardized script, training, commitment to QA, and a belief that your people can save more lives than they already are. Look, here's the fact. This is the lowest cost, highest impact upgrade in 911 operations today. And that wraps up this session of Tips Today in Public Safety. Thanks so much for listening, and remember to follow me on social media at Fletch911. Remember to check out all of our previous episodes at 911tips.com, and don't forget my personal blogs at Fletch.tv. And my professional site is at Fletch911.com. Thanks so much for listening, and if you're in public safety, thanks for what you do every single day. This is Fletch. Stay safe, have a great holiday, and we'll catch you next time.
You've been listening to Tips Today in Public Safety, your go-to podcast for today's breaking stories and public safety news. Hosted by Fletch and available every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Catch past episodes on 911tips.com. Be sure to like and subscribe, and remember to join us each week for the latest on NG 911. I am Spider Harrison, the official 911 voiceover dude. Catch me on Sirius XM on various channels, including 90s on 9, the 10 spot, and on the Weekend Countdown on Hits 1. Or don't regret it for the rest of your life. Either way, I'm good.